There's only 18 games left in the regular season. The playoffs are approaching fast. Who is going to be Miami Heat's X factor during the NBA playoffs? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. Before I get in the video, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm only 15 away. So if you guys could subscribe to the channel, that would mean a lot to me. I'm also going to do a raffle for two different giveaways. So once I do reach 1,000 subscribers to show my support, I'm going to do two different raffles. So one is going to be for non-Florida or South Florida based Miami Heat fans. So if you don't live in Miami, I'm going to raffle away a nice Miami Heat hat. I figure a hat would be easier. That way I don't have to purchase something up front and not provide the right size if it's like a sweater or shirt or anything like that. So for the non-Florida fans, I'll do a raffle for a hat. And then for the folks that primarily live in South Florida, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away 2 tickets to a Miami Heat regular season game. So if you want to qualify to win the raffle, then one, you need to be subscribed to the channel. Two, you need to comment on any of my videos saying, I would like to enter the raffle for the hat if you don't live in state. If you do live in state, you can qualify for both. So if you do live in Florida, specifically South Florida, you could say, I want to be in the raffle for both the hat and the tickets. And I will do a drawing once I do hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I will send you those tickets or the hat or both if you're lucky. And the reason why I want to give the tickets to someone in South Florida is I want someone to go to the game. I want one of my fans or someone in the audience, someone who supports the channel, to actually go watch the Miami Heat in person. So let me know in the comments. Basically, again, I want to be in the raffle for the hat. The tickets are both. That will qualify you. And then I will do a drawing as soon as I hit 15 more subscribers. So thank you so much for the support. Anyway, for this video, I wanted to talk about some of the key players that are going to help this Miami Heat during the playoffs and an X factor. So we all know Jimmy and Bam are our best 2 players. So of course we expect them to perform during the playoffs and to carry us. And I don't want to include Tyler Hero as the X factor because I think that's an obvious one. He has been injured in multiple playoff rounds. He's injured right now. He's missed 29 games after he misses tonight's game against the Nuggets. So he's an obvious X factor who needs to perform. He needs to prove that he is worthy and clutch in the playoffs because he's not been available for us, which has been unfortunate. I don't want to include Terry Rozier either because he's 29 years old. He's a veteran. I know he's new and he does need to be an X factor to a certain degree. He's now our starting point guard, but I don't want to include any of our big 4. So for me, in my opinion, there's a few different X factors, but I'm just going to talk about one in particular today. So the one that I'm going to focus on, and I think is the main X factor coming off our bench, is Caleb Martin. So Caleb Martin has had a tough beginning of the season for the Miami Heat. He had to deal with ankle injuries during the preseason. And then when he came back, he had knee tendonitis. So he had to miss games for that. He missed around 9 games. And then he also had another injury and missed extended time after suffering an ankle injury on Christmas Day against the 76ers. So it was hard for him to get into rhythm because of these injuries. He was in and out of the lineup and recovering. And anytime he would come back, he would be rusty. And when he was thrust into the rotation, he just didn't look the same as he did last year. But after recovering from these injuries, Martin has now been a staple off of the Miami Heat's bench. And he's even started games when other players on the Miami Heat have missed time due to injury, which is all the time. We always have players out. But right now, predominantly, he's been coming off the bench because Nikola Jovic has been starting in his place. And he's been playing really well of late. And so Eric Spoelstra has even called him the X factor for this team. He didn't say for the playoffs, but he said in general. And he talked about his recent performances and how exceptional that he's been playing. And since All Star break, Martin has averaged 13 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 1.9 assists, while shooting 48.4% from the field and 56.3% from three. So, once again, these impressive numbers are him coming off the bench. Um, and Martin basically is okay with that role. He was quoted saying, off the bench, you see how the game goes, kind of how things are being played out, and seeing the openings, Martin said. Offensively, seeing what guys are trying to get to. On the defensive end, you just get a good look at the game before you get in there. So I'm happy he's thriving right now, and it's perfect timing right now. It's the end of the season. There's 18 games left, like I said, and we're getting close to playoffs, and he's coming into form. And if you're looking at his movement and you see his dynamic ability to get to the rim, he has the fast twitch muscle and he has the ability to elevate at the rim, dunk over people. He tries to dunk on people whenever he can, but he's one of our most athletic, if not most athletic player, and one of our best downhill players. And so he is dynamic, especially now because he's hitting the three at a super high clip. So I see him as one of our ultimate X factors. Not our only X factor, but I think he's our primary one because Jaime Hawkins is definitely going to need to be an X factor in the playoffs, but he's a rookie, so it's hard to rely on him. And he's been really good, obviously. And but there's been times where he's had his fair share of mediocre bad games because he's a rookie. He's learning. He doesn't have the experience. But Caleb, he is a veteran. He needs to be consistent. And if he's hitting his three at this clip, that's huge. I mean, it's not going to be 56. That's not sustainable. But if we look at his season averages, so he is shooting 40.3% from three on almost 3.5 attempts per game, which is great. 45% from the field, which is the fourth best, excuse me, after Bam, of course, a big man, 51%, Jimmy 50, and Hawk has 50. That's because those three all shoot inside the paint. So good shooting numbers for him on the season. He's averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. So he is playing great. Again, a great offensive player who's capable of attacking space with those hard dribbles. He's an athletic finisher who finishes at the basket. He's spreading the floor now, knocking down 3-point shots, which is huge, giving and providing space for Bam Adebayo to operate in and Jimmy Butler in that mid post and in that paint region. So I think Caleb Martin is going to be the X factor. We all know what he did last year. He should have been the Eastern Conference player of that series against the Boston Celtics, and where he averaged like 22 points per game and outplayed Jaylen Brown and all the rest of the players not named Jason Tatum on the Boston Celtics. So he was spectacular in that series, but all around in the playoffs before getting sick or hurt during the Denver series where he missed a few games. He played really well. So I'm hoping that he does take the recent success that he's had in the regular season into the postseason, and he's a big X factor for us. So let me know who you think the biggest X factor is outside of the big four. Is it Duncan? Is it Jaime? Is it Caleb? Is it Jovic? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.